and welcome back to video number 3 for the third year in the Lily Pad series. So, one of the things I want to talk about is the effects of social media on mental health. I'm going to try to get through this entire video without sounding like someone's mother. So, if there are times where I sound like someone's mother, just, ignore me. Take what you can from the video and we'll just kind of keep it moving. But I thought this was an important topic to discuss because I have lots of sessions with child and adolescents and young adults. A good portion of my clientele is in that age range, which is probably why I'm a little obsessed with TikTok, because sometimes I have to go and find some of the things that my clients talk about. And, even another one of the things that, I jokingly say that I'm obsessed with TikTok, but I noticed that even I was spending quite a bit of time like distracted, just scrolling through social media, etc. And I noticed, okay, like I'm gonna have to do some things to just kind of curtail this behavior, because this is not the route I want to go in. My life is busy and I don't have time to just kind of mindlessly just kind of scroll. I couldn't think of the word scroll through social media. One of the other things, I'm going to go back to what I noticed in session and clients. So for many of my clients, they are on Facebook, so first of all, let me take that back. I mean, Instagram and TikTok. They're on Twitter, and some are moving to a platform called Threads. They're on these apps. They're spending lots of times on these apps, and a lot of them are modeling their behaviors off or comparing themselves to people that they see on these apps. They're viewing posts from friends and family, posts from across the world, a lot of political content, a lot of fashion content, of course, lifestyle content, which seems to cause a lot of trouble because people are just not happy with where they are. And it can just really cause some issues. And so I've noticed that social media can negatively impact their overall well-being. It'll increase your anxiety, depression, your loneliness, FOMO, fear of missing out, right? And again, with my certain clientele, this is just kind of completely prevalent. Also, that comparison will make you just feel, it'll affect your self-esteem, and we'll talk about that definitely later on in the video. And so, with social media, it's not going anywhere. It's going to continue. It's going to evolve. It's a medium that's we're going into, the technology age. We've been in it, rather, so we're not going into it. And so sometimes when it comes to with social and economic projects, they have a tendency to evolve, and this thing is definitely going to evolve. And so one thing we want to get a handle on is how it affects us, right? And so now, because it's been around so long, we're starting to see research around how social media and the internet is affecting people. And so with my clients, I'm noticing that there's feelings of sadness, overall dissatisfaction with themselves and the life that they're living, frustration, loneliness. And, a lot of times that comparison can be so damaging that some of my clients, it has stopped them from trying altogether because they can't measure up to what they see online. So this is just one part of it. Another way that social media can, affect your mental health is by definitely increasing the anxiety and depression. But the addictive nature of social media is concerning for me. I remember when cell phones first came out. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. So this is the part where I don't want to sound like someone's mom. But I can remember when they first came out, like they were heavy, they were cumbersome. It was a lot going on. And I remember thinking, ooh, I want that. I never thought that I would get to the point where I'm not even a social media person, but I'm very attached to my phone, and I've had to take steps to just kind of remove my phone from me at times, because sometimes I'll walk around the house with it in my hand, and when I think about it, there's really nobody I want to get in touch with so bad that I have to walk around with this phone in my hand. And so it's, it's just like any other addiction. It just kind of, it activates that reward center in your brain. It releases dopamine, and dopamine is kind of like that feel good chemical that's in our brain. So for those of you who like chocolate or like any kind of candy or salty chips, and you get that pleasure from that first bite or how good it is, it's the same kind of dopamine hit. That feel good chemical, and social media does that. Like, you instantly laugh, and it's a good coping strategy for some people, because you're laughing, you're engaged, you're having a good time, and then you don't have to do a lot of work to have that good time, because I'll talk about this in a later video, but naturally we're animals. We don't want to do a whole bunch of moving around or doing anything to gain a reward. So social media is absolutely perfect, right? So when we post something too, some people have a tendency to just kind of look at the numbers. How many likes have I gotten? How many people are interacting? If I'm busy and I hear that ding, 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 I'm looking at my phone to see what's going on. And I'm not a poster, but I'm looking for emails. So I've recently taken emails off my phone, because again, with that whole phone thing right there, I'm carrying it around, something dings, and I'm messing up my work life balance, because I'm going immediately to the phone and looking to see, hey, what's happening. So just being aware that it can be addictive, and if you see that it's moving to the sense of that it is addictive, just spend some time away from your phone. There's this nifty app on this counter on Apple products, if you use them, that will tell you how long you've spent on your phone daily, like how much screen time. And I love that, because if I feel like I've spent more than so many hours that I feel is reasonable in my head, then I'm going to back off, either the next day or the week following. Another thing is filters. So social media is heavily focused on your physical appearance. A lot of social media platforms, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, you guys know they all have filters, right? You get to alter what you look like. You get to alter your skin tone, your eye color, your hair color. You get to clean up these, whatever you find, whatever imperfections, you get to kind of clean those up or alter them or change them in some way. And I think those are kind of scary to me, because body dysmorphia is definitely a thing, and a lot of people don't understand how it can go from a simple face tuning to your brain just not registering your face as your face, and you wanting to get surgery to fix it, or feeling so fixated by not looking the way you look in the filters that you want to harm yourself in some way. So it becomes a very, very, very slippery slope. And you just want to be aware that using those filters may cause some issue. A lot of times when you can catch something on the front end, you can already mentally put that conversation in your brain that, okay, this feels a little bit uncomfortable, or I'm just kind of I'm going down a slippery slope here. Let me use some coping strategies or some techniques to just kind of walk myself out of there. One of the things I noticed, like getting through my trauma, I was very OCD, and I didn't realize at the time that was anxiety. A lot of times with anxiety, you like to keep things just so, because you feel like you're controlling the environment around you. And when I felt like I was moving on the slope of just kind of being a little bit obsessive, I would intentionally move things out of place so that I could get comfortable with feeling the anxiety with them being in disarray. So that's what I mean by just kind of shaking things up a little bit. So the fear of missing out, the use of social media can increase that FOMO, right? For a lot of people, a lot of people will start to feel like ostracized, right? So, and then, when you're looking at the highlight reels of people's life and you're just kind of comparing yourself, like they have all these friends, they're going out to party, they're like, they're socially savvy, and I'm not. I don't have a lot of friends. I'm not going out every Saturday night. I don't look like I'm having as much fun as they are when I go out. And this will eventually impact your self esteem. It'll, again, increase your anxiety, and then it'll make you want to use social media more and more so that, you live vicariously, right? So if I'm not going to have that kind of life, I might as well just kind of, again, live vicariously. Like, I see videos every now and then, and I think I like TikTok because, a lot of people, there's a variety of things to look on there. And this, I'm not saying this to promote TikTok, but I'm interested in it because of human behavior and just the things that people will do to gain the attention that, just the attention-seeking behavior can be a little bit concerning. And I don't know if people recognize it as attention-seeking behavior, because when you put yourself out on the limb, and you're constantly doing something to one-up yourself, to, again, to one-up yourself, to gain the attention you need and want, you're missing something in your reality that you need to address, and social media isn't going to help address that. The one of the other things that I wanted to talk about when it comes to social media is the bullying. It can be such a toxic place, which is why I definitely limit my time on social media, because it breaks my heart sometimes to see how ugly people are. Just how something can turn into, even the nicest, most sensitive thing you can see can turn into, like, some people just are commenting and saying these really nasty and ugly things. And I liken that to the idea of, if a kid is raised in a house, and yeah, there are good times that they have in the house, but sometimes their parents will just kind of reach out and smack them for no reason. And, we're having good times again, and then I'm just going to reach out and smack you again. At some point, that child is going to be very fearful, right? It's going to limit what it does around the house. It's going to limit the time that it's around that person. However, because of the good times that they feel, they're still going to interact with it, even interact with that adult, even though they feel bad, even though that person has hurt them. And social media is the same way. And so, although it just kind of seems silly, you want to use social media to, create mental safety when using social media, right? Look at the funny things and don't look at the comments, right? Set your time limits on social media apps within your phone system. Set your phone, I'm tongue-tied here. Set your phone to where you have to put in a code to continue to use the social media. Like, there's time limits. I even saw someone having a conversation about putting their phone in a lockbox at a certain time at night and not opening it until the morning, which I thought was very, very interesting. But to me, if it works, it works. Designate specific hours for social media, right? I have a lot of clients who are highly anxious in the evening, but they don't understand that social media is going to make them even more anxious because they lie in the bed with their phone, they're scrolling, they're looking at things that they're missing out on, they're looking at things that are causing them to just kind of disassociate, so they're not just kind of connected with their body. There's all sorts of stuff going on, and social media is just not helping. So looking through your friends and followers list and unfriend people whose accounts that make you feel bad about yourself, right? If they make you feel bad, if they make you feel inadequate, take them off. Surround your social media environment with things that make you happy, things that motivate you, things that encourage you, and things that reflect you. Like, I was talking to a client about this the other day. She went to a friend's bridal shower, and one of the things she said was, I want to make sure everybody likes me. So she did this maladaptive coping strategy to make sure everybody liked her, and they wound up not liking her anyway. And when she described the girls, they were opposite of who she was as a person. And so I feel like if you had walked in there and decided they may or may not like me, I'm not here for that. What I'm here is to have a good time for my friends, support her. They don't like pineapples on pizza, so they're not really my people anyway, so why bother? And so just don't try to fit in with people that morally you don't line up. You don't have the same value system. You're just not that person. That's just like me subscribing to Barbie paraphernalia. I'm not doing that. I'm not a Barbie girl. I'm more of a tomboy. I have nothing to do with pinks and bows. And not that I'm judging, because if you're that girl, love it for you. But that's not who I am. So I wouldn't subscribe to that, because eventually I'll feel some kind of way about it. Like, why am I not doing the Barbie stuff? Why am I not a Barbie girl? And I don't want to have those questions about myself, because I'm clearly who I am, and I like who I am. And I want to surround myself with people who are like-minded. Meaning, my little corny thing I always say is that I want to be surrounded with people who like pineapple on pizza. I don't, but you get the point. So finding fulfillment and happiness outside of social media, like, is that possible? It's absolutely possible. I feel like too, like, society has taken this, like, some of these songs, like, I remember, I think it's Drake who had the song No New Friends. And when I talk to clients, it's so weird, some of the stuff that goes in my head when we're in session. And I do eventually talk to my clients about this. But, like, my young adult clients that are, like, from 18 to, like, 26, I've noticed that there's a lot, they have huge difficulty creating friendships. And it's a hard transition. Well, I'll say about 21. It's a hard transition from leaving high school and college and then trying to hang on to those friendships that are just no longer. And then feeling like, so how do I go out and make new friends? Well, there's all sorts of ways to make new friends. Like, find some things that you're curious about or that you're interested in, and go outside and do it, right? So if you're interested in art and you want to paint, go to a museum, start having conversations about art, or go to art school. Just do something. I mean, well, not actual art school. There are art classes that you can take in your community if they have them, or travel to a place where they do have them, or create the activity yourself. Like, do something that'll take you outside of social media. So the lives that you feel like other people are living on social media, honestly, some of those people just took an opportunity to do something for themselves, or a good idea, and just kind of put it out there, and it was well received. So I feel like all of us have the possibility to do things, to be innovative, to be creative. And again, the people who like it, like it. The people who don't. And you don't have to worry about those people. So finding the activities, there is this, so there is this app. That's what I was trying to say. There's this app that's Time Left, I think it's called. I feel like the people looking at these videos are pretty young, but if you're just kind of over a certain age, I think it's over 21, where you can just have dinner with strangers. You don't, of course, you want to make sure you're safe, and just follow the program guidelines, but going out and meeting people, like, you can do that. There are run clubs, there are walk clubs, there's all sorts of things you can go to ensure you are meeting new people, engaging yourself, and those things will also create happiness, right? Like, and that's ultimately what you're trying to do when you're scrolling through social media. You're trying to create happiness, keep yourself engaged, enjoy, and nothing can do that as well as you actually going out and doing the things that will make you happy. So I do want to go back and talk about the things that, like, how it affects you mentally, and I'm sorry that I feel like I'm bouncing a little bit, but time and time again, I can't tell you, like, the number of clients I've had who've come in with depression or anxiety or body dysmorphia, or even clients who have a certain level of desensitization because they've seen things on social media. There are instances, or video gaming, there are instances of kids hurting other kids because they're not realizing that that you can permanently hurt someone by shooting them or stabbing them. There are also kids that aren't really doing well empathetically because, well, when you see people on social media, they treat one another poorly, but they're eventually friends again, and it's not that big of a deal. Right? So a lot of times people use social media, that kind of entertainment, also as a coping skill. And if you think about it, in regards to using it as a coping skill, when you're using social media, you're not necessarily in sync with in sync with what's going on in your body, right? So you don't really know what's going on in your body, but you're just kind of scrolling through these videos. You're getting some limited happiness or whatever, but eventually it's going to click, like, oh, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, or I'm hungry, I'm all these things, and I didn't realize I was these things because I was so immersed into what I was doing in regards to social media. And that is to me a big problem. The other part of it is social media and your self-esteem. I know that I talked about it a little bit, but the biggest thing, when it comes to social media and self-esteem, that comparison is the thief of joy. And again, that's me sounding like someone's mother, but it's absolutely true. Like, if you go out and you're getting dressed for an event and you feel like you look good, you're like, oh my goodness, I look so great, I put this outfit together, mwah, chef's kiss, I am wonderful. But if you go on there and you see, like, if you look up the event that you're going to and you see people just kind of getting there earlier, if you feel like they look better than you, then you're not going to go to the event. You're not going to go and enjoy yourself and have a good time, because it's like, oh my goodness, they look better, my hair looks flat, or this. And so you're going to miss out on an experience because you just took the opportunity to look and see what else was going on. Comparing your body to other people, comparing whether you're as interesting as other people. Folks have gotten surgeries to look like certain people that are on, that they've seen on their apps or social media. It just builds this thing where you're just not happy with yourself. I actually had a client a long time ago who had an issue with, I don't even want to say it was dysmorphia. It was more of this person just really not being satisfied with who they were overall. So it wasn't a gender identity issue, it wasn't a personality issue, it was just that they absolutely weren't happy with who they are. And so they I want to say over the course of a month, they changed what they looked like, they tried to change what they sounded like, and then they changed their whole name. And of course, I honored whatever the client presented. I honored that because it was causing them extreme distress. But all of that was simply due that she did not feel comfortable with the person she was because of the comparison of social media. And then on top of not being happy with what she saw on social media, it not being outside and just kind of creating this life for herself increased her overall anxiety. So socially, she wasn't even open to going out and finding people to talk to because of that sense of inadequacy. So as to not lecture, just be aware of what social media will do to you, what it will, what it may or may not trigger, and then understand like you're vulnerable when it comes to social media. So I didn't talk about this previously in the video, but the level of vulnerability over social media has always been very concerning, right? So a lot of times people don't recognize grooming. And so if there's a person on social media and they're saying certain things to you, it's easy for you to feel very, very comfortable with that person on the other side of the screen, right? There's a level of inhibition that is lowered very quickly with that person on social media because you can't see them and it's almost like they're real, but they're not real. And what I find happens, like you build this bond of closeness, but don't realize that this person is actually grooming you, which is why so many kids are, predators are online because it's easier. They understand that inhibition has been lowered and that they can make you feel safe, they can make you feel comfortable, and then the playing field is so wide that if they lose one victim, they can gain another one in just a few seconds, right? So sometimes when you're scrolling, let's say if you're just scrolling, you're looking at these videos and then someone's chatting you and you're like, hey, blah, 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 I haven't seen you, da, 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 da. And they're like, hey, can you send me this? Or can you do this? Can you do that? It's going to be easier for you to do it because one, the environment that's in social media, and then two, you're kind of distracted, not attached to what's going on in your body and your brain. Because again, you're disassociating, compartmentalizing all that you may have been feeling that day and just getting you some dopamine, those feel-good chemicals. Your impulsivity is an all-time high. And then the next thing you know, you've sent someone something you had no business sending them because your guard has been down, your intuition has been compromised. And, social media also is about fitting into the culture, because if everybody else is doing these inappropriate things online, it makes it seem like it's not a big deal because everybody's doing it. And I don't think everybody is doing it. It just seems that way. So there are things where you want to put your safety in place. And I didn't want this video to become about keeping yourself safe, so to speak. I do want it to be about that, but it was more about keeping yourself mentally safe. But I do want to add that it's important to also keep yourself physically safe, meaning if someone is asking you to bring something offline and you've never seen them before, even heard them before, the last thing you want to do is take anything offline. Be aware of who you are mentally. And by that, I mean, just understand who you are as a person. Like, if I know that I'm kind, that I'm compassionate, that I'm caring, that I'm loving, that I'm intelligent, that I'm smart, that I'm all these really good things, then I don't need to compare myself to anybody on social media, right? Like, I am uniquely me. None of them can be me. And then, sometimes I always tell my daughter, like, that if something isn't yours, then it won't be given to you, right? So if everybody's handing things out and it has your name on it, if it doesn't have Key on it, you won't get it. And it's not a big deal that you won't get it, because the thing that's yours is coming. And the thing that is yours will be yours, and so you don't have to fight somebody for something that's theirs. And that means if you take ownership of what is yours, it will be fantastic, whatever it is, right? So if the life that is yours is you're growing up to be a wife and mother, then that's fine. That's the life that is yours. If the life that is yours is you're an influencer, okay, fine. That's the life that is yours. Doctor, lawyer, football player, basketball player. But do the life that's yours. Therapy is life for me. Life. Right? I can do it all day. I can do it in my sleep. I don't want to do it in my sleep, but I can do it in my sleep. I love to educate people. I love to talk to people. I love to help people. So I totally embrace the life that is mine. And the thing with social media is that it highlights the idea that you want the life that somebody else has. And that will cause you to be depressed. That will cause you to feel bad about yourself. So absolutely proceed with caution when it comes to social media. Have a good time. Love a good TikTok video, just like the next person. But just be aware that that is not real life. That is social media. And you want to create a real life. Bye. You guys have fun, and I'll see you at the next video.